So the first topic is the chemical reaction and the equation. So these are the subtopics. If you turn on your camera, it will be good. Both of you.
Yes, that is fine.
Turn on your cam.
So actually,
Harini?
I'm out, sir. I'm just going to just find out.
Okay, no problem. So this is a chemical reaction and the equation. So these are the subtopics in this chapter. So the first topic is physical change and chemical change. The next topic is what is a chemical reaction, what is a chemical equation. Okay, what is a word equation and what is a symbol equation. Word equation means we'll write in the words. Whatever the given chemical reaction, we'll write in the words, that is a word equation. And symbol equation is nothing but we'll use the chemical formulas and we'll write the given chemical equation. So in the exam, they will give you the word equation and they'll ask you to balance the equation. Like how you got in the previous test, last Sunday test. So 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th question is there, right? It is the same. Or they'll give you the symbol equation and they'll ask you to balance. So both are very important. The next one is the characteristics of chemical reaction. That means, suppose if the chemical reaction happens, how we can identify that chemical reaction has taken place or not. This is the characteristics of chemical reaction. The next one is a balancing the chemical equation. So in the case of NCERT, you have only one method, hit and trial method. The next one is a direct method. The last one is the algebraic method. Okay. So hit and trial method, direct method, and the algebraic method. So these are the three methods, but in the textbook we have given only the explanation for the hit and trial method.
Yes.
Okay. The next one, types of chemical reaction. You have the four different types of chemical reactions are there. One is a combination, the other one is a decomposition. So in the case of decomposition also, again you have the three different types of decompositions are there. So thermal decomposition, electrical decomposition, and the photolytic decomposition. And displacement reaction, which is very, very important, because in this chapter we'll use the displacement reaction and the same reactivity series we'll use in the another chapter also. Okay, that is the third chapter. The last one is a double displacement reaction. In the double displacement reaction, again there are two different categories. Okay, acid base reaction and the PPT reactions, precipitate reactions. The next one is the oxidation reduction reactions. The last one is the corrosion and the rancid. Okay, these are the
Yes.
complete list of topics what you are going to study in this chapter. Fine. So this is a general idea. So whenever you are doing the revision or whenever you are studying this particular chapter, when you see the list of topics, you should have common idea. Okay, what are the topics are there in this chapter, and what are the topics we know very well in this chapter, and what are the topics we are lagging. So to analyze that for yourself only, I have given the list of topics. Okay.
Yes.
One more person joined but left the meeting. Just wait a minute. Okay, fine. So in the first one, we'll study about the physical change and the chemical change. So what is the physical change and the chemical change? Physical change means what? Change in physical properties of the substance. Then what are those physical properties? It can be color, state, size, shape, or whichever you can see with the help of our five sense organs. Those are the physical changes. Okay, so whatever the change in the physical property of the substance, it is called the physical change. Chemical change means what? Change in the chemical properties of the substance. Okay, which is happened permanently. It is not the temporary. So physical change is the temporary one, and the chemical change is the permanent one. So in the case of physical change, no new substance will be formed. But in the case of chemical change, always new substance will be formed. Next, physical change can be reversible or irreversible. But when you come to chemical change, it is always an irreversible process. Once the product is formed, we cannot reverse back to the reactants. Okay, that is a irreversible change, chemical change. Physical change, the composition does not change. Whatever the reactant is there, it will be same as the product. Suppose if you take ice, if you melt it, what will happen?
It turns to water.
Water. Whether the ice and water both are same, right?
Yes, it is a physical change.
So it's a physical change. Only the state is changing from solid state to liquid state. So composition does not change. But when you come to the chemical change, the composition will change completely. Suppose when you are mixing the carbon with the oxygen, it will form carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is entirely different from carbon and oxygen.
Carbon.
So carbon dioxide is not the supporter of combustion. But when you take oxygen, it is the supporter of combustion. So entirely different properties are there, right? So it has a different composition and the different properties than the reactants. So properties of the given product will be different from the reactants. In the physical change, the properties are similar. Okay.
Yes.
So next one is the examples. Cutting of paper. Cutting of A4 sheet into the small pieces. Even before cutting, that is the paper only. After the cutting also, it is the paper only. But just the size of the paper is reducing, right? So it is a physical change. Melting of ice. Or you can tell some more examples of physical change.
Bending a metal object. A thin metal sheet.
Bending the metal sheet. Okay, fine. Not by the metal oxide. So bending a metal sheet, that is a physical change. Next. Harini, melting the ice cube. Okay, next. Chemical change examples. So respiration, digestion, photosynthesis, or rusting of iron. Most common examples you can see in the right in our surroundings. So whatever the Harini, give me the example.
I think photosynthesis also comes under like chemical change only.
Yeah, photosynthesis also comes under the chemical change. So whatever the change happening in our surroundings, classified into two types: physical change and the chemical change. So chemical change means always the new substance will be formed, irreversible one. Physical change means no new substance will be formed.
And it is irreversible. And it is reversible.
It can be reversible or it can be irreversible. Suppose breaking of the egg or breaking of the glass. Even we are getting the glass piece only, but we cannot reverse it, right?
Yes.
Cutting of the paper, you cannot reverse it. Folding of the paper is reversible. Melting of ice is a reversible. So some physical changes can be reversible or the irreversible.
So did you share notepad or Chrome, sir?
Not part of Chrome.
Like we can see Chrome page actually.
Then you are not using it all in the starting of.
Now the Chrome. Sorry, note. One note.
Then I'm teaching you from here, right? Great.
But from starting we can see only the Chrome page. Now we can see one more.
Okay. Now can you see the screen? I thought you are seeing the screen itself. I'm on explaining each and every point.
Yes. You can see.
Okay. Just read it, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me.
So, but sir, I don't have a doubt, but like I heard that we didn't get hit and trial method in the board exam. Is it true, sir? Since last 4 to 5 years, we didn't get the question.
You didn't get the question from the hit and trial from the last few years.
Yes.
It is a basic method actually. For balancing chemical equation, it is a basic one first. So only it is given in the textbook. But actually, if you take the previous year questions, everyone is a direct balancing only. They don't want any steps. They will give the question for 1 mark, and they will ask you to solve, tell me the direct answer itself. And from the last 1 year, it is MCQ only. Last time.
Yes.
Before here, it is a COVID.
Mm.
Okay. So
Yes.
again, we don't know what is the pattern will change this year. And you are going to write the full length test again, not the half of.
At the end of the year.
So we don't know when the COVID wave will start again. We don't know what will happen in the future also. So it's better we'll study the complete topics, and it will be useful for you, not for the board actually, for the Olympiads or any MPSCs, which will write the competitive side, right? That is important. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
So this is the photosynthesis equation. The next one is the respiration equation. So photosynthesis is what? 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll will form C6H12O6 plus 6O2. It will form glucose and the oxygen gas. And photosynthesis is an endothermic process. Photosynthesis is an endothermic process. That means it will absorb the heat energy. Endothermic means what? It will absorb the heat energy. Exothermic means it will release the heat energy. So respiration means what? Exactly opposite of photosynthesis. If you write the products as a reactants and reactants as a products, it is a respiration process.
Yes.
So heat released during the chemical reaction is a respiration, and the heat absorbed during the chemical reaction is a photosynthesis endothermic process. Fine.
Yes. Sir, I have a question actually.
Yeah.
What are products and reactants? Like exactly can you the
So
answer? Yes.
reactants are the one which will undergo the chemical reaction. Suppose if you take below, CaO plus CO2. So whenever the carbon dioxide and the calcium oxide reacts only, it will form some other product, right? Calcium carbonate will be formed. So reactants are the species which undergoes the chemical reaction to give some other substance.
Which can you repeat, sir? Which combined?
Reactants are the species or the substance. Okay. Reactants are the substance
Yes.
which reactants are the substance which react with each other,
Yes. To form one more.
to form the new products or to give the new substance. Reactants are the substance which react with each other to form the new substance.
Yes.
So what is that new substance? It is the product. Okay.
The new substance which is formed is called product.
Products. So always when you see the chemical reaction, the arrow is there, right?
Yes.
Left side of the arrow will be the reactants, and wherever the arrow mark is, that is the products.
Yes.
So again, there are the two types. One is a irreversible reaction. The other one is a reversible reaction. So irreversible is this way. This is the type of arrow in the irreversible reaction. Reversible reaction, this is the arrow. Okay.
Yes.
Now you can see the examples here. The first one is the example for the irreversible reaction. N2 plus 3H2 will form 2NH3. So it is a reversible reaction. And below one 2Mg plus O2 to form 2MgO, that is a irreversible reaction. Okay.
Yes.
The next one is the characteristics of the chemical reaction. So in the characteristics of the chemical reaction, that means how to identify the given chemical reaction. The first one is a change in state. So whenever the reactants are combining to form the new products, if the change in state is happened from solid to liquid or liquid to gas or the gas to solid, whatever it is, so it indicates there is some chemical changes happen. So that state of the substance is mentioned in the brackets. H2 bracket is there, that is the gas. O2 bracket is there, that is the gas. H2O in the bracket L, that is a liquid. So S for solid, L for liquid, G for gas, AQ for aqueous, and the down arrow is for the precipitate. So this indicates the state of the substance.
So what is PPT?
Precipitate.
So what is specific?
Okay. Suppose you are doing some chemical reaction. You have taken the two aqueous solution only. Okay. Aqueous solution means it is liquid format, right?
Yes, I know.
Okay. So when you take the two aqueous solution, after the chemical reaction, if something forming at the solid format at the bottom of the beaker, that is called as a
Okay.
precipitate.
Yeah. Heavier particles at the bottom.
Heavier particles or one of the products which is in the solid format which settle at the bottom of the beaker, that is a precipitate.
Yes.
Okay. The gas, so always escape from the test tube. Precipitate always settle bottom of the beaker. So down arrow is the precipitate, up arrow is for the gas. The next one is the change in color. If any color changes happen during the chemical reaction, it indicates there is some chemical reaction has taken place. So copper sulfate plus iron. How you know that whether the chemical reaction has taken place or not?
Change in color.
By observing the color. Initially, copper sulfate is blue in color. When you dip the iron nail in that, it will slowly change into the green color. So when it forms the complete green color, we can say that the chemical reaction has taken place here. So that only FeSO4 is formed. So how we are identifying that? Only by changing in the color. Like that, we have the below equation also. Pb3O4 will use, upon heating we use PbO plus O2 from the red color to the yellow color. So last one, lead nitrate. It is a colorless. When reacting with the Ki, it will form lead iodide, which is yellow color, along with the potassium nitrate. Okay, so colorless to the yellow color is forming. That means some chemical reaction has taken place. The next one is the evolution of the gas. So whenever some chemical reaction has taken place, some gas will be evolved. Suppose if you see this equation part, zinc plus HCl will form zinc chloride plus H2 gas. Here H2 gas will escape into the atmosphere, but how to test for the H2 gas? So test for hydrogen gas is, suppose if you bring
Give
the,
a pop sound.
it
When
will,
fire is there, it will give a pop sound.
when you bring the burning candle near the hydrogen gas, it will produce the pop sound. That is a test for the hydrogen gas. The next one is change in temperature. Suppose if you take some chemical reaction, either they will absorb the heat energy or release the heat energy. Photosynthesis is there. It is also a chemical reaction. It will absorb the heat
Absorb.
energy. Respiration is there. It is also one of the chemical reaction. It will release the heat energy. So during the chemical reaction, heat absorption or reduction also taken place. So endothermic, absorbing of heat, exothermic, releasing of the heat. The last one is the formation of precipitate. Same. Whenever the chemical, two aqueous solutions are reacting, one of the product formed will be in the solid format. It will settle down at the bottom of the beaker. So through that, we can identify whether the chemical reaction has taken place or not. So these are the 5 characteristics for the chemical reaction. First one is a change in state, change in color, evolution of the gas, change in temperature, and the formation of precipitate. Clear? Yes.
Yes.
Go through it once again, both of you. Chemical equations are very important actually. What is the color change?
Sorry.
That colors you have to remember compulsory.
Yes, the most hardest one.
If you practice, it will be easy only. Because in the exam, sometimes they will give the equation in terms of colors. You have to identify the compound.
Yes.
Like, I'll tell you one example. A black color compound. Okay, or you can say a metal which is in the oxide format with black in color. Upon heating, produce a metal which is black in color and it's oxide, or you can say metal oxide which is black in color. Upon heating, will produce what are the products? Then what is that metal oxide? First you have to identify, right? Metal oxide with black color. Any guess? Copper oxide. So like that you have to identify. Or they will tell brown color fumes will be produced upon heating one of the metal oxide. What is that metal oxide?
Can you repeat, sir?
So during the chemical reaction, brown color fumes is producing upon heating the metal oxide. In which of the chemical reaction brown color fumes are produced? Harini, you have to tell the answer. Ujjwal?
I don't know.
Sir, barrier.
No.
But we don't have all of these in the like textbook, and we don't have a resource to learn most of.
Yes,
How
sir.
can we know these all?
Okay. So just wait a minute. Your textbook is there, right? I'll open the textbook.
Yes, sir.
Just a single point will be given, but it is almost 3 to 4 times previous year question. Which was the question I asked for just now. Only equation part will be there in the textbook.
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
Now can you see the textbook?
Yes.
This equation part have you seen?
Okay.
Lead nitrate upon heating will produce lead oxide plus NO2 plus O2. Okay.
Yes.
Now, can you see this here? The small line.
Yes. Brown.
You'll observe the emission of brown fumes. These fumes are nitrogen dioxide. So whatever the question I asked is there in the textbook.
Yes. So by heating lead nitrate, we'll be getting lead oxide plus brown fumes of nitrogen dioxide.
Dioxide along with the oxygen gas. So NO2 is the brown color fumes it will produce. That you have to remember. So these are the
Yes.
small things. When you study the each and every line in the textbook only, you can attempt the questions. Okay.
Yes.
So you have to study each and every line in the textbook. It's very, very important. So clear this characteristics of chemical reaction.
Yes, sir.
Next one is the balancing of chemical reaction. We'll study that one, don't worry. But before that, so we'll keep it aside the topic. First, we'll finish the remaining topics, then we'll come back to that. What is a lengthy topic? Types of chemical reaction we'll study. And why I'm keeping the topic aside means, first, again, Saturday I will take your class. In Saturday class, I'll explain you balancing completely if you have the doubts. But before that, you have to study the chemical formulas. I have given the total 4 charts, right? Harini, do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
Sir, I don't have the chat. What
Okay.
chat?
Yeah, Harini, can you share the 4
Yes.
emails once again?
Now, sir.
Not now after the class, you can share it to me.
Okay, sure.
Ujjwal, I will forward you, okay?
Okay, sir.
So in that 4 charts or the 4 tabular columns, the radicals or the chemical symbols are there, which is very important. How to study that, then you'll understand the topic easily.
Yes.
How to write the chemical formulas, first you have to learn.
Yes.
Okay. So
Okay,
2 days we have, right? So tomorrow we have, today night and tomorrow you have, you study those 4 charts and how to write the chemical formulas. Then I'll explain you the balancing concept.
Yes.
So now we will start with the types of chemical reaction.
Yes,
So
sir.
the first one is the combination reaction. What's the meaning of combination? Combining of 2 or more elements will form the combination reaction, right? When two or more substances combine to form a single product, it is called a combination reaction. So X plus Y will form XY. So it will be having two reactants and only one single product always. That is a combination reaction. So these are the examples. CaO plus H2O will form CaOH taken twice. 2Mg plus O2 to form 2MgO. Calcium hydroxide plus carbon dioxide will form calcium carbonate. So combustion reactions, these are exothermic reactions generally, and combination reactions are generally exothermic reactions. Most of the combination reactions are exothermic in nature. Okay, so all the combustion reactions comes under the combination reaction, and there is a formula for the combustion reactions. CXHY plus X plus Y by 4 O2 gives rise to XCO2 plus Y by 2 H2O. So this is a combustion reaction. Sorry, combustion reactions. General formula. So you take all the combination reactions, they are exothermic, and all the combustion reactions are exothermic. Combustion means what? Whenever the substance heated, it will produce the heat energy, right? Or whenever the substance reacts with the oxygen, it will produce the heat energy. That is only the combustion reaction. But one of the combination reaction is an endothermic process. This is also one of the previous year question. NH4Cl. What is the name for the NH4Cl?
So can you repeat?
What is the compound name? NH4Cl. NH4Cl. What is the name? Don't know.
Don't know.
Harini?
So ammonium chloride.
Ammonium chloride. Good. So it is a ammonium chloride. So next is the decomposition reaction, which is exactly opposite of combination reaction. Decomposition. So decomposition means what? Breakdown of the molecules into the two or more simpler substances. So that is a decomposition reaction. So single reactant will be there. It will break into the two or more simpler products will be formed. Okay. So CaCO3 upon heating will produce CaO plus CO2. FeSO4 upon heating will produce Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3, like that. So lead nitrate upon heating will produce lead oxide plus NO2 plus O2. So all these are the decomposition reactions in the presence of heat. If the decomposition happen in the presence of heat, it is a thermal decomposition reaction. Okay. If the decomposition is happen in the presence of light, it is a photolytic decomposition reaction. So AgCl upon decomposing in the presence of sunlight will form 2Ag plus Cl2. It is a photolytic decomposition. Or AgBr will form 2Ag plus Br2. It is also one of the example for the photolytic decomposition reaction. Okay.
Yes.
So on this day you have said, like you have said something about cuprous and ferrous and ferric. I have noted about copper, sir. What about ferrous and ferrit? Can you once say the number?
We'll use the ferrous or OUS in the last for the lower oxidation numbers.
Oh,
We will use IC in the last for the higher oxidation numbers. I'll teach you that one.
yes. Okay.
Okay. So this is a different topic actually.
Okay, sir. Somewhere related, like on this day only I've taught, so I've noted down actually.
Okay.
But totally I have didn't know. Okay.
So this is a topic actually on the day we discussed it.
Yes.
Sulfate, sulfur.
Phosphate.
Yeah. That will come in the balancing concept actually. It's only I left it out.
Okay, sir.
The next one is a electrolytic decomposition. What is the meaning of electrolytic decomposition?
Decomposition happening in the presence of electricity.
Decomposition happens in the presence of electricity. That is a electrolytic decomposition reaction. So, which is very important, this chemical reaction. So when you take the water, if the decomposition is to happen in the presence of electricity, it will produce the H2 gas and the O2 gas. But what is the ratio of H2 gas and O2 gas? What is the ratio of these two gases?
So there, 2:1.
2 is to
1.
2 is to 1. H2 gas and O2 gas will produce in the ratio of 2 is to 1. So it is also one of the previous year questions. And where you will get the H2 gas and where you will get the O2 gas?
It depends upon the connection. So
No.
when it is negative, we'll be getting hydrogen, sir.
Okay.
H plus ions, and when it is positive, we'll be getting oxygen ions, anode and cathode.
No. What is the hydrogen? Is it a cation or the anion? Hydrogen is a cation or
It's
the
the
anion?
anion. The
Hydrogen
anion.
will form always H plus, right? Hydrogen will form the H plus. So cathode is a negative electrode. So H plus ions will go and combine with the near the cathode. Okay. So opposite charges will attract each other. So hydrogen is a positive ion. It will go and attract near to the cathode, which is a negative electrode. And oxygen is a negative ion, which will go and attract with the anode at the positive electrode. Okay. Understanding?
Yes.
So we'll get the volume of H2 and O2 in the ratio of 2 is to 1 we will get, and hydrogen will get near the cathode, and oxygen gas will get near the anode. Next one is the displacement reaction, which is very important in this chapter, and the indirect questions will get from this topic only, displacement reactions only. So it is a reaction in which more reactive metal will displace the least reactive metal. So
Yes.
this complete reactivity series you have to remember. So there is a small shortcut trick also is there. Please stop calling me a careless zebra. Instead learn how copper saves gold. So if you remember this small trick, you can remember the complete displacement reaction.
So did you create this like shortcut?
It's not completely me, but I searched it somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the shortcut trick. So please stop calling me a careless zebra and should learn how copper saves gold. So lithium, potassium, sodium. magnesium, aluminum. Next one, carbon, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, gold, sorry, silver, gold, and platinum. So today's your homework is that only. You have to remember the complete displacement reaction chart. Okay. So when you remember this one, you can able to solve the questions. Otherwise, you can't able to solve the questions on this. So suppose if you take the lithium, lithium is more reactive or less reactive? When I take the displacement is lithium, sodium, lithium, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, carbon, zinc, iron, lead, hydrogen, copper, silver, gold, and platinum. So whichever the elements are there in the starting of the series, they are more reactive. And whichever the elements are there in the end of the series, they are less reactive. Okay. I have written wrong here. Actually, reactivity will decrease. As you go from top to bottom, reactivity will decrease. It is not increasing. Mistakenly, I have written increasing here. The starting elements are more reactive, and the last elements are least reactive. So whichever the elements is there above, it is the most reactive. Like suppose if you take aluminum. So compared to aluminum, which elements are more reactive?
So, more reactive in magnesium, calcium.
When you compare aluminum, which one is more reactive?
So magnesium, lithium, potassium.
When you compare to aluminum, lithium, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium are the more reactive in nature. But when you compare to aluminum, below elements like copper, zinc, ferrum, iron, lead, all these are the less reactive in nature. Okay.
Yes.
So you can see the examples here. Copper is more reactive or the iron is more reactive?
Iron.
Iron is more reactive. So the reaction will not take place because copper is less reactive than the iron. So copper cannot displace the iron from the iron sulfate. But when you take the next reaction,
so zinc is more reactive than the iron. So zinc will be displacing the iron position, and iron will be like
zinc is more reactive than the iron. So zinc will displace the iron from the iron. What about the below equation? Iron with the copper sulfate.
Sure, iron is more reactive than the copper. So iron will be replaced. Sorry, copper will be displacing from the copper oxide, and it forms iron oxide.
Yeah. So this is a complete topic, and the remaining things we'll discuss in the next class. Okay. So your homework for today is displacement reaction and those 4 charts. Okay, Harini, just you send me the 4 tabular columns which I send you in the group.